This is the Louie Tee Network.
Could it be? Me, your me, Louie Tee. Welcome to the 2017 NFL Draft Prospects 101 series, your guide to some of the biggest and hottest names of the 2017 NFL Draft. I, of course, am your man, Louie Tee, taking you along on this journey as we continue to break down as many top prospects of the 2017 upcoming draft as we can possibly get through before it gets here. We're talking wide receivers, and this next guy announced his arrival to the National Football League at the 2017 NFL Scouting Combine, put everyone on notice by setting a new combine record for the fastest 40 at 4.22. And let me tell you, the guy is not only blazing fast, but he's starting to diversify his skill set and his game. And so he's going to bring not only the ability to rip the top off of a defense, but he's starting to figure it out as a wide receiver, getting better at his craft, also brings some other different things to the table that's going to help a team. Day one, I think this guy's going to step in and have an immediate impact on some NFL franchise. And I'm telling you right now, what I saw on tape, this is a guy that is growing as the days pass. He's becoming a very dangerous football player. And if he can ever put it all together, look out. We could have the makings of Deshaun Jackson 2.0. I'm talking about Trinitro-toluene, aka TNT, better known as John Ross of the Washington Huskies. Let's break him down and talk about why John Ross could come in and help some NFL franchise right away, day one, with that blazing speed. Let's jump into his pros. So we talk John Ross of the Washington Huskies, and man, can this guy fly or what? And that's where we start with his pros. You're talking explosiveness, you're talking quickness, you're talking speed. Either you have it or you don't, and this man has all of the three things that I just mentioned in spades. 4.22 40, we all know about that epic 40 that he ran at the Scouting Combine this past March. And so that's unquestioned. The speed is there, but just because you're fast doesn't mean that you're quick. Just because you're quick doesn't mean you're explosive. But he has all of those things going for him. A guy that can not only pick him up and put him down in a straight line really, really fast, but a guy that has the quicks out in space to make you miss, start and stop in a very, very explosive and dynamic way. I saw a couple of plays where this guy catches a pass. I want to say it was against Cal, where he catches a bomb and he was underthrown. And these are the type of guys that it's hard to throw deep balls to, because if you don't cut it and you don't have a huge arm and you don't cut it fast enough, you're gonna find yourself underthrowing this guy severely. And so he's probably 3-4 steps behind the nearest defender, and it's underthrown. He catches the football, avoids the first defender, jumps backwards. Here comes another guy, ducks under him, then takes off, picks up a block, gets into the end zone, flashes that speed, able to get back up to top speed in about 2 or 3 steps, and makes it to the end zone. He's that kind of player, well on his way to a 200-yard performance versus Cal. Lit those guys up, a couple of deep balls in that football game, including the one I just mentioned. The explosiveness, the ability to take the top off the defense with pure unadulterated speed, and also the quickness to get in and out of breaks, to make shortcuts, to be able to make guys miss out in space. This is the kind of player that you're looking for if you're trying to revolutionize your offense, if you're trying to do different things, you're trying to take teams vertically and stretch the field, if you're trying to get some easy completions in the passing game. This is the kind of guy that you want on your football team, because it's not only going to open up things for him and your passing game vertically, it's going to open up things for everyone else. I call it the Deshaun Jackson effect, when you have a guy with that much speed on your team, what it does is it forces the defense to pay attention to him, and that's going to free up everybody else on your offense. That's what you get when you get a guy like John Ross on your football team. Dynamic out in space, roster. That's the next pro. So I just talked about a play that to me defines exactly what this guy is against Cal. There's countless plays where he's making guys miss out in space, juking the draws off. I mean, off the line of scrimmage, because you know, when you get a small guy like this, there's two options really and ways to play him. Either you can get up in his face and say, all right, you a little young, fragile young boy. I'm gonna get in your face, lay hands on you. And I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna grope you. I'm gonna molest you and assault you at the line of scrimmage. Or, this is the approach most corners take, I'm scared shitless. So I'm gonna back up about 12 yards, give you all the space you could ask for, and then as soon as you start to get close to threatening my cushion, I'm opening up my hips, okay? So you can have anything you want underneath. So when a guy like Adoree Jackson says, I'm not afraid of you, I can run just like you can run. No, you can't. First of all, no, you can't. All right. Yeah, your 4.37, your 4.44, your 4.4 flat sounds good. This is a 4.22, man. Respect my gangster, all right? Respect his speed. I'm about to put on your ass. But not only did Adoree Jackson say, I'm going to come up and I'm going to lay hands on you, man. I'm going to lay hands on you. Adoree Jackson said, I'm going to squat on you, and I dare you to try to do something at the line of scrimmage. And John Ross just broke him off. Ha! Gave him a quick crossover. Adoree went down. Down goes Adoree. Down goes Adoree. Out the back door. Guess who they saw? John Ross. Touchdown. Big time play down the field. That's what he brings to the table, man. The ability out in space to just be a terror. And that was at the line of scrimmage, okay? Imagine what this guy can do with the ball 12 yards down the field with a safety. One-on-one with a safety. It's over, okay? One-on-one with a corner. It's over. This guy's going to make a miss, take off to the races. He's a rackster for sure because it's a guy that also runs back kicks. So anytime you get a return man with the football in his hands, he knows what to do with it out in space. So without a doubt, and early in his career, that's all John Ross really was a return man and a guy that they would throw hitches, bubbles, and tunnel screens to and say, hey, look, man, make something happen, turn into a return man, make a big play. It was only in 2016 when he finally started to put together all of the different pieces of what it really means to be a wide receiver, start actually running routes and diversifying his game and starting to get into the subtle nuances of the position. Only then did he become a true receiver. So this is a guy that is definitely a rackster for sure. Yards, getting those that run after the catch. That's the name of the game for John Ross. Separation home run ability is the next pro. And we know about the home run ability. I don't need to stress that anymore. I've already done that thus far in this breakdown, but we know this man can take the top off the defense. But what I want to talk about is something that we don't talk about with guys with speed. And I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I think I glossed over it. So I want to elaborate on it now, and that's separation. Okay, you don't have to be the best route runner in the world to get separation when you have the type of speed that John Ross has. And I thought he did the best thing he could ever do. In the offseason of 2015 when he was injured, he worked with Deshaun Jackson and got better in the offseason and came back a totally different football player. And what Deshaun Jackson taught him was that, look, man, you got to learn how to change up speeds. That's number one. And number two, these guys are going to give you all the space you can ask for. So what you want to do is you want to threaten them. You want to make it look like you're about to run a 9 route and then just stop on a dime. And they'll give you a 12-yard comeback. They'll give you the 8-yard stop or the hitch. They'll give you the 7-yard comeback. That's a freebie. That speed out, that's easy money. It's like stealing because a guy like John Ross, what he brings to the table, a guy like Deshaun Jackson, who's been in the league for years, what these type of guys do is they give you free and easy completions because the defense is going to respect their speed and play off of them, giving them an opportunity to catch just about anything they want underneath. How many times have you seen Deshaun Jackson catch a speed out and there's no one around? How many times have you seen Deshaun Jackson catch an 8-yard stop route and there's a defender 3 or 4 yards trailing him trying to come and make a tackle? This is what happens when you have that type of speed. Go look at John Ross's tape. How many times does he catch a stop right at the sticks and there's nobody around? You're like, where's the defense? They're scared shitless of his speed, and they should be, because this guy will run by you if you don't take heed to what he brings to the table. So I think a lot of times we talk about the ability to get deep. What about the ability to just get some easy yards for your quarterback? Get him into a rhythm. Set things up for everyone else. Because 2 or 3 sets of eyeballs is on John Ross, now the tight end is getting a free run up the seam. Now the backside post is wide open because that guy has a one-on-one matchup. He wins to the inside because that other safety is keeping eyeballs on John Ross. And now you've got a free shot down the field to your other receiver. That's what John Ross brings to the table. Formational flexibility is the next pro. You can move John Ross around. He can play X, Y, or Z. I think where he probably will be his best is in the slot at the next level, but I don't want to pigeonhole this man and say, oh, put him in the slot, because I think you can move him around a la Deshaun Jackson. I think you can move this guy around. If you don't want him getting pressed at the line of scrimmage, and we'll talk about why a little bit later on, then you put him in the slot. You put him in some stack formations. You get him in different spots where the defense can't key in on him and lay hands on him before the snap. And so you put yourself in a position to allow this guy to win more times than not. And so I think the formational flexibility with John Ross is infinite. You can move him around. You can even put him in the backfield if you like, to create another mismatch with a linebacker or a safety or whatever the case. You can have the defense identify what kind of coverage, man or zone, by putting him in the backfield and then moving him into motion. So there's a number of things you can do with John Ross. Formational flexibility off the charts with this young man. Solid hands, okay? He's not a natural hands catcher to me. I think he sometimes loses concentration. And what I've found with him is when he does lose concentration and drop a ball that he should catch, he gets down on himself. And I would like to see him just shake it off, get to the next play, and make a play, okay? Sometimes you're not gonna catch everything. And with this guy, like I said, I don't think he's a natural hands catcher. A lot of his catches, if you see him, he catches it with his body, which is fine. I don't give a damn how you catch it, just catch the football. But then you'll see times where he wins on a Z out, where he goes in, comes back to the outside, shakes free, and he's in the end zone. Should be a touchdown. Could have been a better thrown football, okay? But it's right there on the tip of his fingers, and it skips right off his hands. And that, to me, that's where the solid hands comes into play. He's got solid hands. They're not good. They're not great, okay? I don't think he's a natural hands catcher, but I do think he can catch the football, and he can make more than his fair share of plays to keep a defense honest. Toughness. This is a guy that is extremely tough. In 2014, played through an injury that would later see him have to have a microfracture surgery, and he was gutting it out. He hurt it on a kickoff return and continued to play for another 4 games before that injury finally caught up with him and he couldn't withstand the pain anymore. And so this is a guy that, look, you say what you want about him in terms of strength. And yes, he is a diminutive guy, and we'll get to all of that a little bit later on, but do not question John Ross's toughness. This is the tough cookie here in John Ross. Special teams value. For me, if a guy plays special teams, he's tough. Right there in the discussion, because it takes a special individual to play special teams, and this guy brings special teams value to the table as a kickoff returner. You can put him back on punts if you like, but I like to keep guys in their element. He didn't do a bunch of punt returns at Washington. He was more of a kickoff return demon. So I would put him on kickoff returns if you feel like you want to give your kickoff return unit a little boost and shot in the arm. Put this guy on the returns team, let him return kickoffs, and see if he can't make some magic back there like he did at UW. First game back off the injury versus Rutgers to the crib. Had a huge game, caught a couple of touchdowns, couple of big balls, and ran a touchdown back for a kickoff return. So this is a guy that can help you in the returns game from a kickoff standpoint. I'd love to see a team draft him and give him that opportunity to do that as well. So you go from his pros and all of the things that I talked about with John Ross. And let me add in one more thing. Improved route running ability, I think, is another pro, because before the injury in 2015, this was a guy that simply didn't run routes. He didn't run the route tree. He didn't have an assortment of things he could do offensively. All he did, like I said, was hitches, tunnel screens, bubble screens, and anything that was quick hitting to get him the football in his hands. Little gadget plays like reverses and double reverses, things of that nature. That's how they used to get the football in John Ross's hands before the injury. He comes back from the injury. He becomes a student of the game. He works out with Deshaun Jackson, learns the tricks of the trade, and all of a sudden now he's a much improved route runner. And that's why you see the big uptick in production in 2016, which has us now talking about him as a potential top of the draft class at the wide receiver position in 2017. So now we go from all of his pros to some of his cons that he's going to have to either work on or have to overcome at the next level. So the first thing you look at with John Ross, and we've already broken down a couple of receivers, both of them north of 6'3", okay? We're going to break down more receivers in this process, and they're all big guys. He's the only one that we're going to talk about that's sub 6 feet tall. The rest of these guys are either 6'1" or better. And so his stature. First thing you think about with John Ross when you talk about his cons is his stature. And the game that stood out for me, and I love when teams play against some of the better upper echelon defenses, because just like in the Big 12, sometimes the Pac-12 defense can be optional. You'll see these teams run up the score and you'll be having these 49, 46 games, and Cal doesn't play any defense. And there's teams like that in the Pac-12 where, look, Washington State, look, they're not playing any defense. Oregon's not playing any defense. Oregon gave up like 70 points to somebody this year. Teams in the Pac-12 aren't playing defense. Okay, it's a run and shoot, up, down the field, points are being scored, and points come in bunches. So sometimes you can respect when a team goes out of their conference and plays a really good football team. And in the playoffs, Washington played Alabama, so it gave you a look at John Ross against an upper echelon defense. I really wanted to see what he's going to do. And they shut him down, and the way they shut him down was with physicality. He's a small guy. They got up in his face. They challenged him at the line of scrimmage. They swarmed to the football. When they had a chance to hit him, they went off and tried to kill him, and he dropped down to the ground. He wanted no part of this Alabama defense. And so, look, their quarterback, Jake Browning, was under duress, and that doesn't help. So it's not like he had all day to throw the football and John Ross just couldn't get open. They were getting after Jake Browning, but nonetheless, they were physical with him at the line of scrimmage. He didn't want any part of that, and that's part of that stature. He's a smaller guy, and if you can get to him early and do your work early, you can affect John Ross in the passing game. Hands and concentration could be better. I talked about that already. I don't want to harp on it too much, but his hands aren't great. You'll see him drop the football. I saw him drop a slant. I saw him drop a touchdown on a Z out. I saw him drop a deep ball. I've seen this man drop the football on a number of occasions. He doesn't have natural hands. Like I said, he's more comfortable catching the football with his body. Have I seen him catch it away from his body? You damn right I have. There was a game where Jake Browning's about to get sacked. He throws the football up for grabs. He's trying to throw it away, but he throws it up for grabs. And John Ross is in the flats. He jumps up with one hand, snatches it out of the air, and runs for a touchdown. So the guy has hands, but it's not natural hand catching ability. He'll drop it enough to make you say, all right, look, man, I need you to come through for me here, catch the football. Concentrate. And really, for me, it's more of a concentration thing. Just concentrate. Look the ball in, because he's so dynamic. He's trying to make the next move before he catches the football. First thing first. You can't run and gun. You can't have fun. You can't have a ball without catching the ball. So make that happen first. And then all the other things will fall into place because you're such a dynamic athlete. Just catch the ball first, Holmes. Just catch the football first. Raw as a receiver is the next con. Look, this is one of those things. It's a gift and it's a curse. He's raw as a receiver, so yeah, he's not going to be as polished as, say, a Corey Davis coming into the league, or he's not going to be Mike Williams, who says, look, I may not be able to run great routes, but I always can rely on my back shoulder fade. He doesn't have that ability to do that. So he's raw. It's going to take some time for him to learn some more of the nuances of the position, but I'm telling you right now, the upside on this guy is tremendous. And so I wouldn't worry about that con as much as some of the other ones. That's one of those ones where you say, look, you can look at it as a bad thing. You can look at it as a good thing. You get this guy and no, he's not ready. He's not a finished product. He's not polished yet. But when he does get to that point, this guy's going to be a terror for NFL defenses to contend with. 2 major knee surgeries is, to me, the biggest con of them all. because this is one of those Carfaxes that kind of scares you a little bit, where you're like, okay, talked about the microfracture surgery in 2014, turns around, tears the ACL in 2015, which really was a blessing in disguise for him, because he said, look, that injury allowed me to sit down and watch and learn the game and become a student of the game. It also gave me a chance to get stronger. Remember I talked about stature? He gained 17 pounds over that year when he got injured. So you're talking about a guy that was a $171. He's now 188. So when a guy has to gain 17 pounds just to get to a $188, that tells you all you need to know about his stature at 5'11", 188. He's not gonna get too much bigger than that. He's not a big guy. His body type isn't one of 200 pounds. He probably won't even get to 195 throughout his career. He's gonna be a 190 pound guy or so. That's his limit, most likely, and that's fine, okay? But the knee is an issue because he had microfracture surgery, then he tears the ACL. So it is something that you have to think about. Those are on the Carfax report. All right, so you know what you're getting yourself into. If it checks out, which it must have checked out already because I haven't heard any reports as to the contrary, then he should be a guy that should be up on draft boards very high. He's going in the first round. He's going in the top 20 picks. If you're looking for a game changer in the first round of the 2017 NFL draft, this is the man right here. Trinitro-toluene, aka TNT, aka better known as John Ross. That's his draft prospects 101 breakdown. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network. Come back and join me, as I got plenty more guys to break down, man. We about to move fast and furious through these draft picks, so keep coming, keep watching. Keep subscribing if you haven't already done so. Keep liking the videos. We got plenty more work to do, folks. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.